So one of my strategies is to do case studies, which would be good data if I could include that. It's not something that I've built my business practice around, like getting exact numbers from a client before I start, or at the beginning stages of working with them, and then
Right.
you know analyzing that data after
Yeah.
12 months or something like that. Have you worked with clients to do something like that? Do you have any strategies on how to gather data like that?
Yeah. So I have a great case study, and I've never executed on it.
Mhm.
But the reason I have a good case study is because I started day one with analytics.
Mhm.
And so I have clean data from the moment I started working with them till today. And I can show ebbs and flows, and I can see the trend overall over the last, this client, probably 8 years I've worked with them. And I can show, wow, how much things grew over that time. And I know exactly what I did to know what affected things, stuff like that.
Mhm.
So the first step to produce a good case study is to start collecting data from day one. And that is a side benefit of being able to provide the client with good data, which will keep them around because they see the value that you're giving them.
Right.
So the analytics data is going to be the best data you can have.
Right.
And you can anonymize it so they don't even know who, no one knows who this is.
Right. Yeah, and getting their permission on, if it's something like that, I don't mind asking. It makes sense with the analytics and when it comes to a website, but if I'm working with somebody to rebrand their business and go down that path, I guess, and be looking at what their annual revenue would be at that point and comparing to their growth a year or two down the road.
Well, I think that's a great question to ask during the branding process. What is the goal of rebranding?
Right. Yeah,
right?
that is right.
And establishing a metric for
Mhm.
which you're aiming so they can measure the success of it, but you can't too.
Right.
So, what are several reasons why someone would brand, right? We want to appear more professional and we want to increase the quality of our leads, not just the quantity. Okay. We might be able to quantify that, right? We want to not be regional anymore. We want to be more nationally focused.
Mhm.
Okay, we can quantify that by like traffic from outside of our area, and that can be seen in analytics. But I think that would be a great part of the process. What is the goal of the rebrand? And once you have an agreed benchmark of what that goal is, then you can start using that to collect data to show whether it worked.
Yeah, I'll have to incorporate that more specifically. It's something we obviously discuss and talk about, but officially making record of that, I think, would be a good practice so that I can build these with data.
Yeah.
Cool.
Case studies are scary to me.
Yeah.
I know I work hard for my clients, and I know I'm making more money than they're giving me because that's the whole point.
Yeah.
But it's always scary for me to look at myself and evaluate myself because I connect. This is where we get into my own psychology. I connect my own self-worth so tightly to what I do that if I see anything turn south, I feel terrible about myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I hate doing case studies.
Yeah.
You'd probably be really happy with your results.
I would, but I'm also pessimistic enough to say, oh, I don't think that. Obviously, they're great. My clients have been, almost all my clients, my clients rarely leave, right? Yeah. They stick around for years. And that must say something to the fact that they must really like working with me and they must find value. Mm-hmm. But I still have that imposter syndrome in my head, no matter how much, how consistent they are in paying and how many years they've been with me. I'm always like, oh, they're going to fire me next month.
Yeah.
That imposter syndrome is
I know.
really real.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Daily.
I want to do some case studies as well. I have especially I've been kind of going over a few things for my monthly management for Google My Business, but especially for like the fix it services for the Google Business Profile. Then I just have a hard time. Like it's kind of hard to, I don't know, to really show. I'm not too sure what I'm trying to say, but you know, a lot of times it's like, you know, businesses, they see if they get their account suspended, they can't do anything. And like, oh, traffic has gone down. We're not getting calls. We need to get it fixed. And then it's like, okay, and then I fix it and it's back. And then I'm like, okay, so now what, you know, how did that in real numbers impact the business? And a lot, but I don't necessarily have like exact figures, you see, and because they typically aren't going to tell me that. And some of the ones I do white labels, so it's like I can't mention the names. And even if I did, I almost don't want somebody to go look at it later, because who knows what the client did afterwards. I've fixed it now, but they can undo everything I did.
Right.
So that's my biggest thing about wanting to do case studies, because I've got lots of good ones, but I don't know.
I wonder if there's different levels of case study.
Yeah.
Right. Like the goal is, this is a client of mine. I have made them so much money. You should hire me so I can make you so much money too.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we all want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But and frankly, this reflects more on our industry. I don't want to mention my clients' names.
Yeah, that's kind of me as well.
Right.
I'm with you.
I don't want to mention their names. I can talk about their industry.
Yes.
And I know the data that I'm producing is right, but I don't want to be independently verifiable.
Exactly.
Get someone access to that. But I've heard there's ways around it, like contact me and I will not only tell you who this client is, but I will let you talk to them and they can be a reference. So it's so funny. One of my most successful clients, I always use him as a reference, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
And he'll often say, hey, did they hire you? Right.
Yeah.
He wants, he wants me to succeed because he wants me to stay in business so he can continue to use my services.
Yeah.
And, that's just very nice. And I know that if I ever call him for a reference, he will be happy to do that for me.
Yeah.
But I don't just give him out to strangers.
Yeah. And that's kind of the thing for me. I'll mention, the industry and maybe the city, if it's a big city, along here in Metro Atlanta. Well, there's a gazillion of them. Right. So, I might mention that, but I don't really mention that's all I want to mention.
Well, but there's another level in which the case study benefits you as a business owner, in that if you work with a client to produce a case study, they're going to see and get really excited about what you've been able to accomplish for them as well.
Yeah.
And that can make someone just loyal to you for life.
Yeah.
Right. But that's the gold standard of a case study. And I think there's a separate secondary case study, which is still as valuable, which is just simply, here's a client that did this, I did that, and this is a result. And it's not necessarily a case study as much as it is here's something I learned about how search works or local works or something. Like, here's a client, their traffic went down to 0 because they got their Google My Business listing banned. They started at this point in 6 months, they went to 0. We were able to do it on this month, at this time, instantly, and in a month we got it all back. Like, what a great piece of data that isn't necessarily a case study, but it's almost like, here's how we did it, and you can do it too, which is a very shareable thing. Because like case studies are very self-aggrandizing, and that's why people kind of don't trust them.
Yeah.
But if you can do something like, here is something I did that worked and it might help you work, people will share it and use it. And even though you're giving away the farm for free, there's a lot of value in that free. And you're going to get business from people saying, oh, I don't have time to do this. Will you just do it for me?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. I think we've all seen that experience where people contact, I don't have time, just you do it. Right.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I'm more than happy to take your money for you that. Right.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a client of mine that she had me design PDFs of her case studies and put them on her website. And hers are very basic, non-monetary, there's no association to value as far as what was increased, but she states the problem. She states what the objective was, what she did, and what the end result was, what the benefit was.
Yeah.
And she just states it like that. I think that would probably work for your situation. You could even name the company Acme Parts or something like that, and Acme Lawns or something like that, and just reference them and use generalizations, and make it very conversational. Just that, like, could you imagine losing up to, or at least 34 calls a month because you lost your listing or your blacklisted or whatever. And
yeah. I think that's probably, and I'm wondering if I kind of get stuck in my mind saying case study, and I obviously think I need to think of it differently and do it that way for sure. Yeah.
Don't underestimate the value of free, right? Yeah. If it's a case study, it is an advertisement and people inherently aren't going to trust it.
Yeah.
Right.
I can name it something different.
Yeah. But like, if you do something like, hey, I'm going to show you how I overcame this problem for a client.
Yeah.
And I'm going to show you the graphs, the data to show you what happened.
Yeah.
Now it becomes something inherently shareable, more objective, because it's not self-aggrandizing.
Yeah.
Like I did something like that on Curious Ants with link building.
Okay.
I forget what I called the article. Something about link building is not dead, but so the whole topic of link building, it's a great topic. I love it. But every once in a while, Barry goes, "Oh, link building is dead. It doesn't work anymore."
Yeah, I heard that was on something the other day where somebody said link building is not dead.
Right. No, it never dies. Just like SEO is never going to die. But
you just have to do it right.
Yeah, well, exactly. That's the problem. Bad link building is dead. But good
bad link building will get your site banned.
Well, yeah, but that's what I wanted to show. And I got a client one heck of a link. Like it was the gold standard of link building. Everything the spammiest link builder dreams about and hopes and never will ever get. Like I got that link.
Yeah.
And I went in and I pulled all this data and I showed we got one link and look at what happened to this client.
Yeah.
Everything skyrocketed.
Yeah.
And I just produced all these charts, but obviously I didn't mention the client's name. I didn't present it as a case study. I presented it as, hey, I'm here to show you link building is not dead. You still need to do link building. Here's an extreme example of getting something really good link-wise and all the benefits they got.
Yeah.
But this isn't to say you need to get this best amazing link like I got, but it says proof of concept. If I can get one really, really, really good link, what if I got a few? Hey, these are pretty good links. It's still this proof of concept.
Yeah.
And that's the way I presented it. I could have phrased it as a case study. You should hire me because I can solve your problem and I can help do link building for you the right way. And I can help you get all these benefits for it. And I didn't present it as a case study. I presented it as a object lesson about a thing that I do. And because it's on Curious Ants, the answer is, oh, and by the way, if you want to learn how to do link building like this, that's what Curious Ants teaching. Right.
Yeah. I think that's kind of more what I need to do, that type of thing, and not call it case study and not be in a case study format. So yeah. Okay.
Well, I think, and I think for you, especially Tricia, it's that works really well because you're a white labeler.
Yeah.
Right. So you can say, hey, do you have a problem like this? Here's how you fix it.
Yeah.
Or you call me.
Yeah.
Right. And that's just such an easy, and people will be grateful for that call to action and just do it. Oh, I don't want to read this whole article. I'm gonna press the button and contact her and she's gonna do it for me.
Yeah.
Great. That's exactly right. And I mean, what was I gonna say? Oh, that was the other point I was gonna make. So we talk about using Google Analytics as a benchmark to do this and having that set up from day one. But this is another value of the monthly report, right? So in the game plan, one of the steps is set up a monthly report for each of your clients. And having that automatically delivered to them every month hopefully does a couple things. Number one, shows your client that things are moving and they're getting something for their money. Because the report is all about what kind of customer acquisition did you get? So we're sending them a monthly reminder that they got customers as a result. Two, the second purpose of the report is to kind of make us go, well, why did they get those things? And have to delve in a little bit deeper to see what worked so we can do it again. That is the kind of stuff that can produce really great content for our websites, right? Hey, this last month I tried this. Holy mackerel, did it work? Look at this. Or last month I did that. Oops, look at the terrible thing that happened. Don't do that, right? Yeah. What I learned is this, right? That's kind of what the thin content article I just published was. Don't cut corners on content.
Yeah.
But that is one of the values of it. It's my old boss used to say, the clients are really paying for the report. Our job is to make sure the report does well.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, they're kind of just paying for the report.
Yeah.
And because we have pride in what we do, we want to make sure that report grows and we're doing better for our clients. But because we could just set up a report and charge them for it and not do anything, and that really wouldn't be a lot of value.
Yeah.
But that monthly report, and that hopefully can help you start to find these ideas for case studies.
Yeah.
Because you can see what's working, what's not. What's unique about this situation that makes this work and not that, and that can really kind of produce some great ideas that will not only help you produce great case studies, but help you improve. Because one of the values of working with several clients that we have over someone who works in-house at some company doing SEO is that we get to see what works on other websites and apply those lessons to our clients too, right? That's the advantage we have over working in-house somewhere only on one business.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.